Hey, everybody. How is everyone doing today? It's so great to see you guys. Let's go right over to court. I think they are actually at a bench conference. Nope, they're back. Let's jump over there now.
Knowledge of the circumstances or anything with the investigation.
Did you eventually leave the location at 2830 Waters Road?
I did.
All right. You said this is about 2 o'clock in the morning.
Somewhere around there.
Did you at some point in time go to Atlanta Police Department on March 16, 2022?
Yes.
What was your purpose of going to the Atlanta Police Department?
I had to return to check on the wire. I got a few hours of sleep, maybe a couple hours of sleep, but I could. I returned to check on the wire room and also stopped by to see Detective Kevin Leonpacker. Stopped by his office to talk to him for a minute.
And would you work with Detective Leonpacker with your investigations?
All the time.
Okay. And just as a side note, what types of things would you ask Detective Leonpacker to do with your cases that you were working on?
I would bounce investigative ideas off him sometimes with cases.
I'm sorry, the volume is just too low. I'm going to pull up 11 Alive. Sorry, give me just a minute. Let's try this. Nope. I think this is it. Okay, here we go.
Did you make it to APD?
Yes.
Okay. When you got there, did you make it to Kevin Leonpacker's desk where he sits?
Yes.
Are there any investigators that sit close to him in the office?
Yes.
Is Detective Hogan one of those investigators?
It's Detective Leonpacker, empty cubicle, Detective Hogan.
Once you went to go speak with Detective Leonpacker on March 16, 2022, did you see Detective Hogan?
I did. On my way to his desk, I passed Hogan.
And what happened once you passed him? What happened?
When I walked past Hogan's desk, I said, "Hey, Hogan." I said, "Your victim," I said, "is being posted by some of the YFN guys. Just checking to see what you got. What do you got? Like, what's going on?" And then he said, "Well, I got some surveillance video and some people, but I don't know much else."
He said he didn't have much else.
Yeah, he just.
At that point in time, did he show you the surveillance video?
Yeah, I said, "Well, show me what you got. Let me see what you got." And he's pulled it. I talked to Kevin for a second. He said, "Come on over." And I looked at the video that he had.
And what video did you look at?
It was video from a gas station that I recognized to be at Fulton and Windsor.
Okay. And what did you see on the surveillance video?
He showed me some individuals that he had identified as his suspects.
Okay. And when you saw the video, what, if anything, did you do?
I immediately recognized Mr. Stillwell from my interaction with him the night before because he was wearing the same clothes. And I recognized Mr. Farley on the video.
Okay. And you said the night before, were you at the office on March 16th as well?
Sorry, it was the same day. It was 2 a.m., sleep for a few hours, went to the office and met with them. So it was the same day.
And when you watched the surveillance video, was this surveillance video from March 14, 2022?
Yes.
And you had but earlier that morning had seen Mr. Jackson or Stillwell Jackson in the same clothes that you saw him in on the video.
Correct.
Right. And then you said you also recognized Miles Farley on the video.
Correct.
All right. Once you recognized both Mr. Farley and Mr. Stillwell, what, if anything, did you do?
There was a third individual in the video that I knew to associate with him, but I didn't know his name. So I told investigator Hogan he may want to get with somebody else to get a name on that person. And then he showed me the vehicle associated with his case.
And did he show you the vehicle from the surveillance video or something else?
I believe it was a surveillance video.
And what, if anything, did you do when you saw the vehicle, his suspect vehicle?
I recognized it as the white Audi with the Maryland tags from the home at Waters Road that I'd seen hours prior.
Now, you said that you did not recognize the third individual in the surveillance video, and you directed Hogan to speak with someone else. Did you direct him to speak with anyone specifically?
Well, I recognized him by face. Just a name, I didn't have a name. So I think Investigator Belknap was either in the homicide office or he was upstairs, and I called either him to come to the desk or come downstairs to help Hogan.
And let me ask you this. I want to go back to March 16, 2022. When you spoke with Mr. Jackson about what happened that night, how did the conversation come up about what vehicle was his? Do you recall?
I believe that was prompted by when he said I just got here and they started shooting, or something like that. I just got here and they started shooting, or I pulled up and they started shooting. So I said, well, what vehicle were you in? I think that's what prompted that question.
And when you spoke with Mr. Jackson on March 16th, did he ever speak with you about where he was in the days prior to you seeing him on Waters Road?
No.
While you were speaking with Mr. Jackson, did you ever speak with him about the homicide that had occurred on March 15th at I-20 and Windsor Road?
No.
Now, going back to later in the day when you were at APD, at any point after speaking with Hogan, did you take any steps to continue assisting him in his investigation?
I went upstairs and reviewed the wiretap data for that time.
And when you say that time, what time are you referencing?
The time that would encompass his homicide taking place.
And did you find any calls around the time of when the homicide took place?
I did.
And we'll come back to that. Once you went upstairs and reviewed or went to the wiretap room and kind of reviewed those calls, what, if anything, did you do next?
I think I just continued to let him know that I was available if he needed anything from our end, but.
Did you ever come to take out a search warrant for the home at 2830 Waters Road?
Oh, yes. When I was reviewing the calls, now that would be reviewing the calls for the night before. When I responded out at 2 a.m., I began to review those calls from that incident and learned some information that led me to obtain a Fulton County search warrant for the location at Waters Road.
And so let me understand clearly, you heard some information on the wiretap.
Correct.
And was that information on the wiretap from March 16th?
Correct. The time that we responded out there and I encountered Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell.
And based upon what you heard on the wiretap, you then went and applied for a search warrant at Waters Road.
Correct.
Now, let me ask you this. When you got on the scene at Waters Road, did you go inside of the house on March 16th?
I may have peeked inside the house. I can't remember, but I don't think I did we didn't search it or anything.
And was there any reason why you did not search the home on March 16th when you responded?
They were victims at that time. I didn't have probable cause in my eyes to obtain a search warrant for the location.
All right. Now, were you able to obtain the search warrant to search the home on March 17, 2022?
Yes.
And did you all search the home on March 17, 2022?
Yes.
And did you have assistance from the Atlanta Police Department to execute that search warrant on March 17, 2022?
The gang unit in conjunction with the SWAT team, Detective Leon Packer came out to help. There's a bunch of people helping out.
Your Honor, permission to approach. You.
That was really fast. We're already at sidebar. I don't even know what happened.
We all think this would be a good time for a bathroom break. So let's.
Okay, they're going on
take
break.
a restroom break. We'll be back in a few.
Dual sovereignty law, federal law that could recharge all or some of these defendants under federal RICO law. No, but let's look it up. Haven't heard of that. And that's interesting. Okay. Dual sovereignty law, also known as the law that separates sovereign's doctrine, is a legal rule that allows different sovereign governments. Oh, this is a sovereign citizen thing, isn't it? Ugh. Sovereign governments to prosecute the same individual for the same offense without violating double jeopardy clause. That's against the law. The dual sovereignty doctrine allows federal and state governments to prosecute a defendant for the same act because sovereignty has its own laws and offenses. For example, a defendant can be tried for both a state court and federal court for the same crime. In 1993, the U.S. versus Kuhn, Sergeant Stacy Kuhn of the Los Angeles Department was convicted of federal civil rights violation in his role of beating Rodney King, who had previously been acquitted of state charges for the same beating. The double jeopardy clause in the Fifth Amendment protects individuals from being prosecuted twice for the same offense. However, the dual sovereignty doctrine allows different sovereign governments to prosecute the same offense without violating double jeopardy clause. Dual sovereignty doctrine refers to the ability to separate sovereigns, such as separate states, to pursue the same in criminal court with the offense committed impacts both jurisdictions. Okay, let's go to legalinstitute.com because they are like the bee's knees with this stuff. Let's pull it up. Shall we? I think we shall. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up and see. Oh, that's small. No. Can y'all see that? Shall we zoom in? I think we shall. Oh, that didn't help. Let's do that. There we go. No person shall be held for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a Senate or grand jury without. Is this the? I don't know if this is the same thing. Dual sovereignty doctrine. No, same thing. Okay. Let's make this bigger. Oh, that made it smaller for you. Okay. It's not good. There we go. Except in cases arising in the land or naval forces, in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be okay, got it, go away. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice in jeopardy or of life or limb, nor be compelled. My mic is in the way, sorry. Be compelled in any criminal case to be witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or shall be private property be taken for public use without just compensation. But that's what they've done to these guys. That's absolutely what they've done to these guys. They've taken their private property their life by putting them in prison or jail. In some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of property. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Throughout most of its history, dual jeopardy clause was only binding on the federal government. In Palco versus Connecticut, the Supreme Court rejected an argument that the 14th Amendment incorporated all provisions of the first 8 amendments as limitations on states. The court, however, enunciated and due process theory, which some Bill of Rights guarantees are considered so fundamental that they are of the very essence of the scheme of ordered liberty, and neither liberty nor justice would exist if they were sacrificed. Wow, that's pretty deep, actually. The double jeopardy clause, like many other rights and defendants, was not considered fundamental in Palco. It could be absent if fair trials could be still had. How's that? Still, a defendant's due process rights absent double jeopardy might be violated in the court's view if the state's credited a hardship so acute and shocking as to be uncurable, but that was not the situation in Palco. But this goes back to Fifth Amendment rights. The federal system, government bodies may be different interests to serve when it defines crimes and enforces their laws. When different bodies have overlapping jurisdictions, and a person may engage in conduct that will violate the laws of more than one body. Okay, so like state and federal. Gotcha. That makes sense, actually. Although the Supreme Court has been asking to overrule the dual sovereignty doctrine, which I understand, in a number of cases, it has repeatedly declined to do so in Gamble versus the United States. So they're looking to overturn it, but it hasn't been overturned, is what they're saying. The dual sovereignty doctrine has also been applied to permit successful prosecutions by 2 different states for the same conduct. But that's not what's going on here. I'm thinking this is why the prosecutors have led up with the different witnesses and have nothing to do with these murder charges. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Let's watch something while it's I don't know if y'all saw, but Uncivil Law was on with Jason last night. He had some interesting things to say about the plea deal arrangements. Some stuff I really didn't know. I'm gonna pull this in. Pull this in here. Here it is.
10 years, or how about a lesser version of it, right? So it's a settlement of the case, and the reason to do it is certainty for both sides, because you know exactly what you're going to get. For the prosecution, the advantage is that you save time, energy, money, staff. You know, you can spend your time on other things. The
Right.
government doesn't necessarily have unlimited resources, so you know you get to save energy and complexity. Plus, an appeal, it kills all the appeals, so you don't have to worry about an appeal. And the advantage for the defendant is, well, you get less than everything that you might have gotten. So you're trading uncertainty for certainty. That's the advantage.
I got you. And now I had some good questions, but because we were talking in the green room, you kind of derailed some of my questions because now
you can still ask them. The chat won't know any different.
Well, now
I can pretend like I've never heard them before.
I'm not as committed to them as I was before when I wrote them up. I was like, oh yeah,
okay.
This is gonna be a great question. Now I'm like, I don't know, man. This question is kind of lame. So if I felt that I was innocent, why in the world would I agree to a plea deal though?
Yeah, well, for that, I mean, you can just talk to the Innocence Project about it, and they'll be happy to tell you all about it. But the reasons there are, just kind of the same. It's like, you get to go home in some cases, like you get to go home and not worry about it anymore. You run out of money is honestly the biggest single factor, because you just simply can't afford it anymore. It's a lot of stress on you. It's a lot of stress on your family. Going to court every day, the whole rigmarole of it, the money of it. It can be a huge, exacting thing. And so it's like, if they come to you and you'd be like, how would you like to go home today? That can be a pretty attractive offer. So, the government gets to save some face. They get their guilty plea. You get to go home. They don't get sued. Everyone wins, sort of.
So you brought that up because I've always said that this Rico trial here in Atlanta, we've been talking about the YSL trial. I think raise your hand if you've been, addicted to the YSL trial. Go ahead and raise your hand. It's okay. This is a safe space. I said that it's money laundering. I personally think that it's a
the trial itself.
The whole thing is a form of money laundering. But even worse than that, it's a war of attrition where eventually you are going to get depleted on your funds. Sure, Jeffrey Williams was a multimillionaire, but if you sue Jason, I'm going to be a multi 10-cent heir. So it's going to go bad real quick for me. So why?
Yeah, this case is already the longest ongoing criminal case in Georgia, and there is no end in sight.
Not a bit.
Not to mention the people that are still yet to be tried in separate cases related to this. This
agree.
will never end.
It's a song that never ends. And I know that there's a rumor that the state was going to rest this week. And I've said it. I'm going to say it again. Good luck with that. I hope you are ready. I don't know if you have a good recipe for crow, but please understand you'll be eating that crow Monday afternoon because they will still be in. The state is not resting. It's going to go till Christmas. There's basically like 20 days left between now and Christmas that you could quote work. They're going to milk the whole thing, but I digress.
Plus, of course, if this case goes up to appeal and gets reversed, which seems very likely, we get to do it all over again. Yay. It was so much fun the first time. That's one of the things people said, are you going to cover the YSL trial? It's like, I'll catch it the next time around.
So in your mind, in your expert opinion, let's say that nobody did that. We didn't have the plea bonanza that we had about 2 weeks ago. You get a plea, you get a plea, you get a plea. I'll cop a plea. If we didn't do that, how long would you say that trial would have gone if Jeffrey and everybody else had stayed in there?
I mean, if the state is looking to rest its case, I don't know that it would have necessarily gone on much longer because the worst charges are the ones that are remaining. So presumably would take up the bulk of their time. But this trial's been going on for a year, and it took 8 months to select a jury, which should be illegal.
Yep.
It should not take 8 months to select a jury. If you came to me as a judge and it's going to be like 8 months to select a jury, I'd be like, no. No, it's not. You get a week.
Right. I have no idea what took so long, but how long the rumor was that it was going to end in February. Was the rumor.
Sounds about right.
That's when Jeffrey and them were still in it. So do you think that it would still end then, or?
Yeah, that sounds about right to my mind.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not here to argue with you. I was saying late summer at best, just at the pace that they were going. There's no motivation to move forward in a timely manner.
No.
Like if you knew that you were going to your high school reunion, you're extra, and it's in February, you're extra motivated to do things so that you can look and perform, look the role when you go back to your high school reunion. They don't have any motivation. There's none whatsoever.
No, I don't know what's going on in this prosecution. I don't know what's going on with Fannie Willis. I don't know what's going on in Fulton. This case has had so many problems in it procedurally. It's just a minefield. There's just so many issues, from ex partes to rulings to evidence that was presented that was supposed to be redacted that wasn't, to the entire selection process. And I don't even know how, in theory, a jury is supposed to even hypothetically keep this amount of information in their head for this long, even with notes. It's like, how are you supposed to do that? How is a jury supposed to sit on a case for a year and have any semblance of remembering anything, except getting to the end and just being like babbling idiots? It's like, because it's just, how are you supposed to deal with this? How are they supposed to manage this in any sort of way? So I have a lot of problems with this case. I have a lot of problems with this prosecution. Procedurally, it just seems inept. It seems completely mismanaged. And as I mentioned, we still have other people yet to even be put on trial in relation to this. So apparently we want to have that trial for those people, plus redoing this. I mean, when does it end? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It doesn't end.
So,
but the plea deal at least ends it for those people. So they got that going on for them.
Absolutely. Now, do you feel like in cases that are this large, like the YSL trial, that plea deals hurt or help as relates to the defendants? Or do you feel like this should only be for smaller cases or such like that? What do you think?
I don't think the size of the case necessarily has one thing to do with it or another. I thought the defense was in a really good position because they can smell the problems as surely as I can. So I thought they were in a really good bargaining position because, like, well, the future looks pretty bright for the defense, I would imagine. And the deals that they got, other than YSL himself, were pretty good. I mean, they sounded about right. They're actually a little bit, perhaps slightly more punitive than I thought they'd be, given everything that went over. The one that really caught me by surprise was YSL, the titular man himself, because he didn't plead. There was no plea deal. There was no deal. He just pled guilty. It was just a straight plea of guilty.
So let's talk about that.
Mr. Williams just threw himself on the mercy of the court, and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
And you used the term I was going to ask. Is that the term, I throw myself at the mercy of the court? Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Okay, that was it. Okay. So let's unpack that, because you did explain what a plea deal is. You and I make an agreement. We make a contract that, uncivil law will stop, prosecuting Jason for throwing gerbils or whatever. Okay, that's our agreement. And we have that agreement. But Jeffrey didn't have that agreement with the state.
Right.
He literally
There's no agreement.
He just said, hey, judge. So basically he does throw himself at the mercy of Judge Whitaker and say, hey, I'm guilty of the drugs and the guns, of speeding,
and the gang activity and leading the gang.
I don't think did he claim? I thought the first and the last ones are the ones he did not.
Well, he pled nolo. He pled no contest, but a no contest is functionally the same as guilty. Legally, It's the same as guilty. The only difference is you're not admitting to actually doing it, but you're still admitting there's enough evidence. So if you ask me what evidence is there against him, I don't have to answer that question because he said there's enough evidence against him. That's part of the nolo. There is enough evidence against me to convict me. That's one of the things. And the judge agreed that there was enough evidence. Otherwise, she couldn't have accepted it. She has to find that there's a sufficient factual basis for the plea. So he is the leader of a gang because he's been found and adjudicated guilty. He pled nolo, but the finding is guilty. I mean, that's effectively. So but there's just no admission. That's the only difference. The only reason it has any advantages in the civil context, because since you don't admit to it, you can't use the admission that doesn't exist in a civil case. So if you were going to be sued by somebody, like, just to take an example, he wasn't being charged with murder, but it's the only example that comes to mind. If he was being charged with murder and he pled nolo, then you couldn't use the admission because he didn't give one in a wrongful death lawsuit. You'd have to still prove it in a civil
Right.
context. So the only real advantage is in a civil lawsuit.
I got you. Let me. I see a comment that I want to bring up a little bit later. Okay, so and maybe you need to help people understand this. Like Jeffrey didn't. I thought, I guess wrongly, that when he said no.
No problem.
So I think we left off that you went to Waters Road and you went to the search there.
Correct.
When you got to Waters Road on March 17th, 2022, did it look the same way that it looked when you were there on March 16th, 2022 around 12 a.m.?
You're talking about,
When you were at the house on March 16th, 2022.
yes,
When you went on March 17th, 2022, did the house look the same on March 17th than it did on March 16th?
I'm going to overrule that. I mean, go ahead. You can answer.
are you talking about before or after entry was made?
After entry was made.
It's not a particularly clear question. That may be the problem.
On March 16th, when you went to the house, did it have TVs and video surveillance systems and stuff? Did you,
Are you talking about the interior?
yes, when you went on March 16th, did you see video surveillance inside of the house? On March 16th, when you responded and spoke to Mr. Jackson?
I watched body camera and I was able to see through the front.
Okay.
Hang on.
When you saw the house, did you
Did she go?
inside the house?
But if the front, with the front door open, you could see from the front yard, there was a large monitor with
That's-
feeds running.
Okay, so
Did you personally observe?
Yes,
that?
Your Honor.
so let me go back. When you got to the house on March 16th, were you able to see inside of the home?
Yes, from the front, the door was open. Yes, I could see into the house.
And when you saw inside of the house, were you able to see television and video surveillance systems?
Yes,
Okay. When you went on March 17th, 2022, and after the search warrant, y'all made entry into the home, was that same surveillance camera system still at the house? Was it still there?
it had been removed.
Okay. When you got there on March 17th, 2022, were all of the cars that were present on March 16th, 2022 at the location?
No, I believe 3 were left at the location.
And on March 17th, 2022, did Detective Liam Parker video the search warrant and the contents that were recovered from the search warrant?
Yes, to assist me, he helped with videoing it.
Okay. And were you present during the execution of that search warrant?
I was.
All right. Now, as a part of your investigation, and let me ask you this, did you, between March 11th and March 17th, were you still observing and monitoring social media during this period of time?
I was.
And was that in conjunction with also listening to the wiretap?
Yes.
Okay. And why were you still observing and monitoring social media?
Because when you're in the midst of an investigation, you never know towards the end what may be relevant at a later time. So I was making sure to get the full picture of everything. Better to have and not need than need and not have. So I like to kind of make sure everything is together, because like you might get to the end of an investigation, something that seems so small is huge. So I was making sure to capture as much as I could.
And when you were going on social media, were you going on individual public accounts?
Yes.
And during the course, I want to start with just initially, were you able to find social media posts of Shell Kell, his account?
Yes.
Okay. And did he have pictures of himself with Rayshawn Bennett or YFN Lucci?
Yes.
And on his account, did he also have pictures of himself with Donovan Thomas Jr.?
Yes.
Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
No, approach the witness, I'm sorry. I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 440 BV and 454 BV. Tell me if you recognize 440 BV and 454 BV.
I do.
How do you recognize 440 BV and 454 BV?
See, these are some of the posts that I collected during March 2022.
And is that a fair, accurate depiction of posts made by Shell Kell _Nutlife?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 440 BV and 454 BV into evidence.
Admitted.
Permission to publish.
You may.
And looking at 440 VV, there's a post date of December 1st, 2018. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. When did you capture the image?
Should have been sometime in March.
And who is depicted in the picture?
That is Kelvin Watts in the white T-shirt, and it's Mr. Rayshawn Bennett, who's shirtless.
And sitting here, do you know the area or where this picture is taken?
That appears to be the Trestle Tree Apartments.
And are you familiar with Trestle Tree Apartments?
I am.
And how are you familiar with Trestle Tree?
That's an area favored by the YFN Criminal Street Gang.
Okay. Now looking at 454 BB. And looking at 454 VV, did you also capture this in March of 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And who is in this picture?
That's Kelvin Watts in the camouflage jacket, and that's going to be Donovan Thomas with the varsity jacket on.
All right. And again, is this on Shell Kell's Instagram page?
Yes, this was on his story.
In the same way, did you also have the occasion to capture pictures with Darius Bigford as well as Christian McMain Miller with members, individuals associated with YSL?
Yes,
And did you capture those pictures as well?
I did.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 441 VV, 442 VV, 443 VV, and 451 VV. Take a moment, tell me if you recognize those images.
Yes, I did.
How do you recognize them?
These are also photos that I captured during March of 2022.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of images that you captured while observing those public Instagram posts?
Yes,
You're on this time to state what I think meant 441 VV, 442 VV, 443 VV, and 451 VV into evidence.
441 through 443, and then 451 BB.
Yes, Your
Okay,
Honor.
those are admitted.
Thank you. And permission to publish.
You know.
Now, looking at 441 VV, what Instagram post, excuse me, what Instagram handle is this?
the username is going to be real1_FR.
And do you know who that Instagram account is associated with?
That account is going to belong to Darius Ford.
And when was this originally posted?
October 13th of 2021.
And again, did you screen grab this though in March of 2022?
I did.
Right. And who is, do you recognize anyone inside the picture?
The gentleman with the orange hat is going to be Darius Ford. And then the gentleman next to him in the white shirt is going to be Jeffrey Williams.
All right. Next, going to 442 VV. Is that posted again from Mr. Ford's account?
It is
And what is the date of this Instagram post?
February 17th of 2021.
And again, is that Mr. Williams depicted in this photo with Mr. Ford?
Yes.
All right. Looking at 443 VV. Are you familiar with this Instagram handle?
I am.
And what is the Instagram handle?
It's would normally say Ocean Drive Slim, but the C has been replaced with a 5.
And when is the original date of this post?
March 29th, 2019.
And are you familiar with the individual depicted in the post?
I am.
And who's depicted in the post?
Christian McMiller in the green hoodie, Jeffrey Williams in the yellow, and 21 Savager, Mr. Shaya Joseph is in the white hoodie.
Okay. And are there any just emojis on this photo?
There's a green snake and a dagger emoji in the caption, and it says 4L.
All right. Next, looking at 451 VV. And is this also another post by the account belonging to Mr. McMiller?
Yes.
And do you recognize any of the individuals inside of the picture?
I see Mr. McMiller in the blue hat with the orange hoodie. Looking at the back of Mr. Garlington with the blue hat with the white writing. I see Mr. Quantavious Greer. He also goes by Umfunk. And then I see Mr. Sumlin standing up with the white tank top with the white hoodie.
Now, while you were looking at social media, after the death of Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford, did you see any social media accounts with anyone associated with YSL regarding the death of Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford?
Yes, multiple accounts.
And did you screen grab those in the same way?
I did.
Just wanna be fair. Permission to approach again, Your Honor?
May.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 447 through 450 BV, then 452 to 453 BV, and then 463 BV. Take a moment and look at those.
Okay,
And do you recognize those images?
I do.
And how do you recognize them?
There are additional social media images I pulled during March of 2022.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of images that you captured back in March of 2022?
They do.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 447 to 450 VV, 452 through 453 VV, and then 463 VV into evidence.
For 47 to 50, say them again for me.
Sure.
I was writing, but I think I got it wrong.
447 VV through 450 VV,
Yeah,
then 452 VV
okay.
through 453 VV, and then last is going to be 463 VV.
All right, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
did get it wrong, so those are admitted.
And permission to publish.
You may.
Now, showing you what's been marked as 447 VV. Is this, whose Instagram post is this, excuse me?
That's going to be the account associated with Mr. Garlington.
And the picture in the account, does that appear to look similar to the location of where the picture that we just looked at was, the date, given the clothing, what Mr. McMiller is wearing?
It appears so.
And going to the next 448 VV. Looking at 448 VV, are you familiar with the Instagram handle Bentley BZ4L?
I am.
How are you familiar with that Instagram handle?
That's the Instagram account associated with Christian Eppinger.
All right. And again, is this another post of Christian Eppinger, or a post of Christian Eppinger posting both? Is that Mr. McMiller and Mr. Ford in that picture?
Correct.
All right. Going to 449 VV. Are you familiar with the Instagram handle OOG_Tunk?
I am.
How are you familiar with that Instagram handle?
That's a social media account associated with a gentleman named Antonio Sledge.
Okay. And what is depicted on the post that he posted?
Again, that will be Christian McMiller and Darius Ford.
Going to go to 450 VV. Is this another picture, or excuse me, another image by Mr. Garlington?
It is.
All right. Next, 452 VV. Are you familiar with the Instagram account OG.BOOL_?
Yes.
How are you familiar with that Instagram account?
That's the social media account associated with Shannon Stillwell.
And is this a post that was posted on that account?
It was.
And what does it say?
Just rest, Mac. I got you, man.
And are there emojis?
There are
What are the emojis?
a crying face, a broken heart, a bandaged heart, and the devil emoji.
All right. Next, going to 453 VV.
That is a post of Mr. Stillwell with Mr. Ford.
And is there an emoji on that post as well?
Yes, the bandaged heart and the sad crying emoji.
All right. And the last 463 VV.
That's again a post from Mr. Stillwell's account.
And while we're getting that one to publish, and during this time, were you again listening to the Wiretap in this kind of around March 11th of 2023? Excuse me, 2022.
I'm probably doing about 12 to 16 hours a day in the wire room.
And in preparation for trial, have you had opportunity to listen to some of those calls?
I have.
And now we have 463 VV. Is this a post from the account belonging to Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Okay. And what does the post say?
I can hear Mac now still playing goddamn big. We let them suckers get us shit. Where the fuck boo at? I'm sorry. That's what TF means, in case y'all didn't know. Boo at, and then it says, damn Mac, I miss you. I miss your ass preaching when I be on the bullshit.
All right.
And boo would be a reference to Quentin Porter.
Now, going to some of the wiretaps that were, I want to direct you to March 11th, 2022 at 10:05 p.m. And is this with the wiretap? What was the phone number? Do you recall now the phone number associated with Mr. Robinson? Or the last four digits?
I can't, I know Mr. Sumlin's ended in, I think, 8711, and I just knew the other one was Mr. Garlington.
I want to direct your attention to March 11th, 2022 at 10:05 p.m. from 27 seconds to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let me ask you this. Hold on. Excuse me. After Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford were killed, were there Instagram posts disrespecting both Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford?
There were several.
And did you capture those those Instagram posts that were being posted?
Yes,
Right. And why did you capture those?
just because of how inflammatory they were. I knew that they were going to be important because they were very, very disrespectful and inflammatory.
And have you had an opportunity to look at some of those posts prior to your testimony today?
I have.
And with social media, if posts are inflammatory, in your experience as a gang investigator, does that flame any potential beef or anything that may occur?
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 456 VV, 457 VV, and 462 VV. Do you recognize those pictures?
I do.
How do you recognize them?
Two are going to be from like fake accounts that were made to troll people in the wake of their death, and one is from an individual that I know from working in Atlanta.
And do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of images that you grabbed, again, in March of 2022?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 456 BV, 457 BV, and 462 BV into evidence.
Admitted.
And permission to publish.
Yeah.
Now, looking at this exhibit, is this one of the fake Instagram accounts that you were referencing?
That's one of the ones that we couldn't identify who it belonged to, but it was very, very vocal about the disrespect.
Okay. And what does the post say?
New op pack just came in.
And in your experience as a gangbangers, have you heard the term op?
I have.
Okay. And what is your understanding of op?
It's short for opposition or rival.
And do you know, sitting here today, what day you screenshotted this particular post?
It would have been in the days immediately after the death of Mr. McMillan, and Mr. Ford.
And we're looking at a document with the screen grabs, help refresh your memory as to the dates of when you captured this post.
It would.
Mhm. And do you have a copy of this document here to help refresh your memory?
I do.
All right. If you would take that out, look at it as soon as your memory's refreshed, just look up and let me know.
That would be March 11th around 11:30 p.m.
And about what time did Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford pass away?
It was maybe several hours prior to that. So they got killed at 3 a.m. on March 11th, go through the day, and then that night at 11:30 p.m. this got posted.
We'll go to the next post. Now, looking at exhibit 457 BV, are you familiar with the Instagram handle 1ABG_Big Nick_?
Yes,
How are you familiar with that Instagram handle?
I'm familiar with this individual. His name is Nicholas Johnson.
And does he have a nickname?
Usually it's Fat Nick or Big Nick, depending on what he changes his handle to. But he's a YFN member.
And why was this, what if any significance did this post have?
This was also posted several hours after Mr. Ford and Mr. McMillan had been killed, and he posted a song on top of him just moving around saying, and the song was entitled Slime and Chalk, which is referring to like typically in the old crime scenes where they'd outline the body in chalk. So this was inflammatory in that nature. He's posting this kind of just making sure everybody saw it.
And when was this, when did you capture this post?
The capture time reads 3 hours ago. So if I can refer to the sheet just to get the posting time.
Yes.
It was posted at 11:20 p.m. that day following the murder. So it means that it was captured at 11:20 p.m., which means 8:20 p.m. it was posted.
Go to the next exhibit. And while that's pulling up, have you ever heard of the term smoking an op pack?
I have.
Okay. What is your understanding when you've heard that terminology?
An op pack is a play on words, like when you talk about a pack of loud or like marijuana or drugs. So now when they come in, they'll say, we're smoking on this person that's dead. It's just another way of disrespecting the opposition when they get killed. So saying a new op pack just came in, they're smoking on these people. It's very, very common among gang language, especially when there's a murder that takes place.
And now looking at 462 VB, Joey _ Hurst 24, was that an actual page or was that a trolling page?
That was a page that was trolling pretty.
Sustained.
Okay. Were you familiar with that page?
I was not.
Okay. Were you familiar with anyone being associated with that page?
I was not.
Sitting here, do you recall what the picture that's in the caption, what that said?
With the picture itself?
No,
Or
not
the profile
the
picture.
profile picture.
I can't see. It seems like a drawing or something of some sort.
And again, was this an example of some of the inflammatory posts that you were seeing that you captured?
Yes.
Okay. We can take that. Now, I want to go back to the Wiretap call. Permission to publish.
You may.
The record again is going to be 27 seconds and 3:38 seconds.
Chris name.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that shit, that was crazy, boy.
Man, I was just going through what I'm calling when I had them posts. He told me, man, tell Corey, I said, welcome home. I told you that.
Yeah, that what I got there. That was like, man, that shit, that just too crazy.
But that's a fool. Boy, I'm like, damn, boy.
They hit him more on this.
I don't know. See, I think he the one that got shot in the head. I don't, like, everybody been said he had died first. Like, that's what they were saying at first. They were just like, bro was in critical condition for a minute.
I heard
But
he got hit in the head.
Yeah, but Roger had done got down told me what had to him. He had done DM me like, man, bro just died too. So we just turn on the video chat shit. But he was like it came from Roger said it came from Summer Hill, but Quay just said they got into it with when they was at Chit Chat, they got into it with them henchmen niggas.
Who nigga?
Man, I think them niggas look all I run them folk, man. You know, on for me going back and forth, they gonna answer.
All I run?
No, not him, but like his little young nigga.
Oh yeah, I heard that little hits me shit.
Yeah, Quay say when B Slime just had the show, on for him, B Slime them got down, rushed to the car to get the file, some shit they hadn't got into it.
Yeah, that's crazy right now.
My cousin just called him, so he know what he told him just pull up. He got down, he know what happened.
Yeah.
I'm finna pull up and got down, see what the hell going on.
So what the hell he was coming from the car?
Yeah, man, they went to LaCour, man.
Oh yeah, so I thought he was in traffic or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought, cause everybody going to traffic. I be telling that nigga they go to traffic. But I ain't even saying that to him last night, saying to put his clothes on.
I knew that mom up by 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
They like somebody got shot in the car, but they ain't really showing that.
Yeah.
I get on Instagram by 6, 7, like maybe 7, 8 up or something. I said, damn, that way it was.
Hey, yeah, man. I ain't know it, man. Them folk blowing my phone up.
You know, I said, them folks them folks were on, them folks, they ain't see none of them niggas in the car.
Nah,
Like,
man,
yo, them two.
yeah, it was just them two, I think. I don't know, but I ain't heard nothing, bro. I ain't called nobody.
Man, that nigga running, man. What the hell wrong with this nigga, man? That nigga walk so goddamn fast.
I ain't talking nobody but Ed B.
Oh, AB.
Yeah, you know he on though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, AB just laying low.
Nah, he with his folk.
Okay. And the girl in charge is tripping, man. I called his phone, somebody, this ain't his number. Yeah,
For real.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it
man.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we started playing at 3:37. Want to ask you a few questions about that call before the next call. Were you familiar with Demekion Garlington's voice?
Yes.
Okay. And was Demekion Garlington one of the individuals on the phone call?
Yes.
During the call, you heard them talk about umfunk. Is that the same umfunk that you talked about earlier in the pictures?
Yes.
Did you hear them speak about umfunk getting into it with the henchman?
Yes.
Okay. Are you familiar with the henchman?
I am.
How?
I have worked some investigations and spoken in person with their leader of that gang.
Okay. And with the henchmen, do they have any alliances?
They do.
And what's one of their alliances?
YFN.
All right. Now, you heard them talk about they were coming from Lacora. Are you familiar with Lacora?
I am.
Okay. What is Lacora?
It's a nightclub lounge on Metropolitan Parkway here in Atlanta.
And through your investigation of working the Christian McMiller, Darius Ford homicide, are you familiar if there was an event at Lacora on the night before they passed away?
There was.
And based on your investigation, were Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford at that location prior to their death?
Yes.
Now, there came a point in the portion of the audio that we listened to where the sound went down. Do you remember hearing that?
Yes.
Okay. Is that an example of the minimization that you were referencing earlier, that if it's something that isn't about criminal activity, it will be minimized and then you will pick the call back up?
Yes.
In listening to that call, do you know who Mr. Garlington was speaking to?
Yes.
Okay, who?
It's a gentleman that goes by the name Dwoskin Wright. I know him as Watt.
You said
Watt, W-O-T.
That's his nickname?
Yeah.
Okay. And how are you familiar with Mr. Wright?
Early on in my career, I did a good bit of work on the 30 Deep Criminal Street Gang, and he's a member of that gang.
And did you hear them mention SB on this call?
Yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with that nickname?
Yes.
And who is that nickname associated with?
Mr. Shannon Stillwell.
All right. I want to publish our next call, which is on March 12th, 22 at 12:49 p.m. from 00 to 1:12 p.m. I mean, 00 to 1:12 minutes.
Yo,
What the hell you got going on?
shit, you got up.
Hey, anybody asked, we went and looked like soon in the midnight. Anybody just said we went and looked for them motherfuckers. We couldn't find them.
Okay.
Don't tell nobody.
Yeah, I know. Well, what there you at?
Leaving the room.
Leaving the room.
Huh?
What you feeling to?
Shit, same old shit.
Sounds it.
Same shit.
I'm saying, what you
Someone told me he gonna come pick me up. Shit, that was going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next time I meet him, Rodlow. I said, man, Rodlow ain't getting no coat.
Yeah.
I tried that shit yesterday with a nigga I don't got down though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We want to stop at 1:11 p.m. Again, is that Mr. Garlington on the call?
Yes,
Okay. And did you recognize the voice of who he is speaking to?
that would be Mr. Stillwell.
Right. And in that call, the Mr. Stillwell said, don't tell anyone we went to go looking.
Yes,
Okay. Or we went to go looking, don't tell anyone.
it sounds like that's kind of hard to hear, but that's what it appears to sound like.
Okay. And they mentioned on that call, did you hear the reference to Big Nick?
I did.
All right. And are you familiar with that name?
I am.
Is that the same Big Nick, to your understanding, if Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell are talking, do you know which Big Nick they could be referencing?
They would be referencing Nicholas Carter.
Okay. How are you familiar with Nicholas Carter?
I know Nicholas Carter to be an older member of the gang associated with 2830 Waters Road.
And you said an older member of the gang?
Correct.
Which gang?
YSL.
And you said you know him to be associated with 2830 Waters Road?
Correct.
To your knowledge, how's he associated with 2830 Waters Road?
I remember him being arrested at that location during a narcotic search warrant back in 2014.
And again, he is different from Fat Nick, who we just talked about earlier, also who calls himself Big Nick, who's with YFF.
Correct.
Next, we want to publish March 13th, 2022 at 1:23 a.m. from 4:40 into the call until the end.
Yeah, for real, right?
Bro, D, is you sad about Matt Payne for real?
Man, on DB on Saturday here, bro.
I know.
That's why they had to come drink, bro.
That's why I said I ain't called you. Dad said, "D okay?" I said, "I text. I ain't want to call him." He said, "Yeah, he answered. I called him."
Yeah, that fucked up. That shit got me hurt, bro. I fucked with bro.
Yeah, that shit put me on. So I know dude sad about that.
Yeah, man.
Damn, big poppy little shit too.
I know it, bro. Damn.
That shit crazy. That part said they had like 45 gun shells out there.
Huh? 45 gun
Yep.
shell?
Yeah.
Just know, Cash, we gonna get some get back. We gotta get
D, you better show that down somewhere.
I am, but still, bro. Like, I am gonna sit down. Listen, I'm gonna sit down, bro. But
Boy, you better sit your ass down somewhere, baby.
I am, but bro, nigga think this shit a game out here playing. For real, bro. Like, I already going through some shit before that. Like, it like all type of trying. They got money on my head, bro. Like, and I still just be going places. You see, I don't be worried about shit, bro. Cause I be prepared. I be prepared for shit. If a nigga pay with me, they know that shit ain't gonna be easy.
Oh, baby.
I just got to a shootout early.
Why the fuck you get to a shootout, D?
Because it was a car looking strange. And don't say that gun there.
Why would you? Oh my god.
Because the car, they were 3 deep with hoods on, so I had to shoot it. I don't know. On the day, it was the car. The day on Cleveland. On Cleveland, it was a car. I know it, bro. Yeah, you do.
D, you need to.
Yeah. Yeah, you right. Yeah. That how them niggas follow me. That how they follow me from people. Yeah, I would have hold. Mm-hmm. That's what you doing up at 131. Yeah, phone. I didn't talk the phone. I talked to him. I told him for the call. He just said, you know what we on every day. Hello. What you doing up at 131?
Right, we're going to pause it at 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the call. Do you know who Mr. Garland was speaking with?
Without seeing the phone number, it's hard to, or a name from the line sheet, it would be hard to tell.
Okay. Did you hear when Mr. Garland said on DB and then he kind of explained something?
Yes,
Okay. Are you familiar with or have you heard that initial DB?
I have.
Okay. And what do you understand or DB, those initials to mean?
They're referencing Derek Benning. He's one of their fellow gang members that was killed years ago.
And earlier when we talked about kind of the timeline after March 11th, there was a shooting on Cleveland Avenue. And you heard it on the wiretap. Was this the call that you were referencing?
Yes.
And to your knowledge, was there any police report associated with any shots fired around March 12th, 2022?
Yes.
All right. I'm now going to publish March 13th, 2022 at 5:49 p.m. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think they died like right there on the scene with Matt Main. He had he was in critical condition, probably like for few hours. He hadn't got shot in the head. I think he was at brain dead or something. I don't know where, but wow, that shit up, bro. Oh God, I don't know. They said nigga killed or murdered. Just made a little song that somebody sent me that. He just made the song. They sent me that. I don't know. They trying to act like they did it. Yeah. And got some more niggas claim that shit. And they don't even know them though, but they be okay.
Hey, who?
Be okay. The nigga who claim.
I'm going to pause in that particular portion, did you hear Demikion Garlington speak of someone making a song?
Yes, Kel Omerta.
Say that again.
Kel Omerta.
And are you familiar with that name, Kel Omerta?
I am.
How are you familiar with that name?
That is Markel Wright. He's a member of the PFK criminal street gang.
And Markel, right, does PFK have any alliances?
They do.
And is YFN one of their alliances?
It is.
Now, in doing your work, we spoke earlier today about music and gang investigations. In your experience, have you found with gangs that there are times that gang members do music?
Yes.
And have you found in your experience that sometimes gang members use music to promote their gangs?
Yes, often.
And in here, when Mr. Garlington is saying, you know, what did you say his name was? Kello Murder?
Yes.
Okay. Made a song. Was that something uncommon to you as a gang investigator of an opposition making a song about a potential death or bragging about a potential death?
No, they do it often.
And did you hear when Mr. Garlington said some other dudes might be claiming it as well?
Yes.
Did you see any social media posts throughout your investigation or while you were looking at social media of different groups claiming to have done the murder of Mr. Ford and Mr. McDonough?
Not really. It was mostly YFN and then pages that were trolling, like pages that were just popping up out of nowhere, trolling.
I want to next publish March 13th, 2022 at 6:41 p.m. from 00 to 2 minutes and 9 seconds.
Hello.
What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
What's up, man?
What the hell going on?
Oh shit, I just got a phone with you, baby.
What you talking about?
Huh?
What you talking about?
Oh shit, he was asking what happened.
What happened?
They saying different shit. Just different shit.
Which one makes sense to you?
Huh?
Which one makes sense to you?
You said which one what?
Makes sense to you?
Which one makes sense?
Yeah.
I'm tell the kid. I'm tell the kid. I don't want to, on these phone shit. They be recording, making
Nah,
make
you
sense.
ain't gotta say much. You ain't gotta say much.
Yeah. I thought
I just wanna know.
I already know. I'm tell her. I'm tell her what they said. What the street saying. Like they send it. They just send. Huh?
Keep going. What you saying? Did you wait?
Nah, they keep sending different. They keep sending different pictures. They got now the nigga who claimed it, the nigga who out on Instagram claimed it, don't nobody even know him. Yeah, he say he supposed to be PLK or some shit. I seen on phone last night. We ain't even got down. We ain't even really just talk like that. Everybody was leaving. I had one up there with 21 now. Little Chip had an all black party. I had that one up there. But I'm walking out seeing funk at the door. I shit, what's going on? I shit, you know what we on. I'm like, I'm finna call you. Yeah.
Indy right there. Were you familiar with the person that Mr. Garnes was speaking to?
From the voice, it sounds like Kenneth Copeland.
And had you yourself had discussions or conversations with Mr. Copeland throughout the course of your career?
Multiple, yes.
Now, back in 2022, do you know if Mr. Copeland was incarcerated?
I believe he was.
Are you aware of the relationship between Mr. Copeland and Mr. Garlington?
Yes.
How are you aware of that relationship?
They were good friends.
And to your knowledge, in 2022, were they good friends?
Yes.
Let me ask you this. In 2015, were they good friends?
I believe so, yes.
And is Shannon Jackson a part of that friend group between Mr. Copeland, Mr. Garlington, and Mr. Jackson, to your knowledge?
Overruled.
Yes.
Now, between March 11th and March 14th, 2022, did you see any members or individuals associated or friends with Mr. McMiller and Mr. Ford making posts that appeared to be in response to some of the offensive YSL posts?
Yes.
And did you capture those posts?
Yes.
And have you had an opportunity to view those posts in preparation for your trial?
Yes.
I mean, for your trial, for this trial. All right, permission to approach, Your Honor. I'm going to show you what's been marked as 464 VV, 455 VV, 446 VV, 475 VV, and 458 VV. Tell me if you recognize those. 464 VV, 445 VV, 446 VV, 475 VV, and 458 VV. Do you recognize those?
I do.
And how do you recognize those?
Those are some of the posts that were captured during March, or I know one was definitively March 2022. I'd need to refer to check the others.
Okay. And do they appear to be fair and accurate depiction of the images that you captured in March of 2022?
Yes.
You're on this time, and I'll try to do it in order.
Thank you.
The state would like to admit 445 VV, 446 VV, 458 VV, 464 VV, and 475 VV.
Okay. I had thought I heard 454 at one point. That's not one of them.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. 446, 445, 446, 458, 464, 475.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, those are repetitive.
Thank you. And permission to publish.
Ma'am.
We're going to start with 464 VV. And looking at your chart, will it refresh your memory as to when you screen grabbed this post?
The capture time was March 13th at 5:47 p.m. And the photo says 2 minutes prior to that.
And is this on Instagram? Is this what it's called an Instagram story?
Correct.
Okay. And our Instagram stories only in existence for 24 hours?
Correct. They're posted to your profile. They don't go to your main profile. They go to a separate section. They're up for 24 hours, or if you want to delete it before that. And with that post, you can actually take a look and see who's viewed the story.
And are you familiar with the Instagram handle?
I am.
And what is the Instagram handle?
Fortray_the world. TV world. I'm sorry.
And who is your understanding of whose Instagram post that is?
Javon Fleetwood.
And is that the same Javon Fleetwood we spoke of earlier regarding the shooting in May of 2019?
Yes.
Okay. The same individual with the YSL tattoo on his face?
Yes.
Okay. What does the caption say?
F, middle finger emoji, being safe, you got to stay dangerous.
Now looking at 445 VV. Looking at 445 VV, who's the poster of the post, or what Instagram account posting it?
That would be the account associated with Shannon Jackson or Shannon Stillwell.
And do you know what is the date of this post?
Is it okay to refer to the chart?
Yes.
The date would be March 9th at 9:48 p.m. But it was captured 7 hours prior, so it would be like 2 in the afternoon.
Just speak up.
Sorry. It was the capture date is March 9th at 9:48 p.m. But the post said 7 hours ago, so that would be around 2:48.
And
March 9th.
and is that before Mr. McMillan and Mr. Ford were killed?
Yes.
All right. Now looking at State's Exhibit 446 VV. And is that from that same account associated with Mr. Stillwell Jackson?
It is.
Okay. And what does the post say?
That racial expletive, y'all scared of me.
And is there an emoji?
The 100 emoji and like the strong, like it's for real. Like it's
And what is the date of that post?
March 9th at 9:48 p.m. It's captured 3 hours prior. So it was posted to around 6:48 p.m.
And was that the same day as the post we just observed?
It was.
All right. Now I want to show you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit 458 VV. And looking at State's Exhibit 458 VV, is that also posted from the same Instagram account associated with Mr. Stillwell? Mr. Stillwell,
Yes.
right? And what does the caption say?
Ain't gonna be the only one crying.
And when was the date and time of this post?
That was on March 11th, around 11:23 p.m.
And on March 11th, around 11:23 p.m., was that around the same time or approximate time that 12 Atlanta was shot up?
About 2 hours after.
And is that the shooting in which a YFN associate was shot in the head?
Yes.
Now, during the course of this time, did you hear when Mr. Garlington on the last call said that there were people claiming to have done it?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see any posts that piqued your interest of anyone that could be interpreted as claiming to have done the killing of Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford? Did you find any, and I'll rephrase your honor, did you find any posts of note to you as a part of your investigation regarding Mr. Kelvin Watts?
I did.
Okay. And that post, what was of note to you in that post?
There were several. Can you refer to the specific post?
Sure. Did you find a post of Mr. Shelkel reposting a picture with Mr. Drinks, Mr. Jasper Walter, and himself?
I did.
Okay. And first, when was that picture captured by you?
It was captured on March 12th at 7:24 a.m.
And why was that picture of note to you?
because of the emojis and the captions and the people present in the photo.
And have you had an opportunity to see that post today?
I have.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 460 VV. Tell me if you recognize 460 VV.
I do.
And is that the post that we were just referencing?
Yes.
And does that appear to be a fair, accurate depiction of the screen grab that you grabbed on in March of 2022?
Yes.
Yeah, this time the state would like to admit 460 VV.
Admit it. Admit it.
Now, who is the original poster of the picture?
The original poster would be Mr. Shamel Drinks.
And is that who had the #NoLove_nut Instagram handle?
Yes.
Okay. Who is in this picture?
Sitting down with the black coat and the red sneakers will be Mr. Shamel Drinks.
And if you could,
Sure. Right here, you'll see this is Shamel Drinks right here. The gentleman in the blue jacket with the black on is going to be a gentleman that goes by the name Jasper Walters. He's a YFN member. He also goes by Lil Man. And then in the all black, you're going to have Mr. Kelvin Watts or Shelkel.
and did Shelkel_NutLife, the account associated with Kelvin Watts, repost that picture?
He did.
All right. Now there's some words on the picture. First of all, what do the words say? Well, or you can read that whole caption.
Yeah, they say, I'm with you. And he tags Shelkel NutLife and Summerhill Willman. Hashtag LLN, hashtag Mafia.
And is there a emoji at the end of Mafia?
The bird or the eagle or the bird emoji.
And is there a emoji, exclamation emoji, and a 100 emoji?
Yes.
Okay. Now, for Instagram, that I'm with you exclamation 100 at Shell Kel Nutlife at Summerhill Lil Man. Was that caption on the original post by the account associated with Mr. Drinks?
Correct.
All right. And then when it's reposted, do you see some other emojis?
I do.
What are the other emojis?
There are 2 shell emojis, the zipper over the mouth emoji, and then you're going to have a black heart.
Okay. And those emojis, is that from the original post or is that from what Mr. Kelvin Watts posted when that account posted? And can you tell?
So it's not from the original post, and you can tell because it's outside the boundary of the original post. It's like kind of overlaid on top of it.
And were those emojis of any significance to you as a gang investigator?
After March 11th, yes,
Why was it significant to you after March 11th?
because Mr. Walters and Mr. Watts had been very vocal about the deaths of Mr. McMiller and Mr. Ford. So the 2 shells and the zipper emoji were sort of telling.
And once you saw, and that's Mr. Kelvin Watts posting that.
Correct.
All right. After seeing this post, and when did you capture this post?
I believe it was March 12th around 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m.
Okay.
And it had been posted 6 hours prior. So 1 a.m. on March 12th was when it would have been posted.
All right. Now I want to play for you some additional wiretap calls, but let me ask you this. So let's fast forward to March 14th, 2022.
Somebody all right? Anybody need a break? No, y'all are soldiering on. All right, thank you.
I may take you up on it off in about 10 minutes. On March 14th, 2022, did you at some point have the occasion to listen to any wiretap calls that were around March 14th, 2022 at about 9-something p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. And to your knowledge, do you remember when did you listen to those calls? Did you listen to them on March 14th or sometime afterwards?
I believe sometime afterwards.
Okay. And did you find anything of note to you regarding the calls on March 14th, 2022?
The people that were speaking and some of the conversation that was being had.
Okay. Now, when you listen to these calls, at that time, were you aware of the murder of Mr. Shamel Drinks?
No,
So you listened to the call before you were aware of Mr. Drinks' murder?
I just don't know what call you're referring. I don't know. Which
On
one.
March 4th, the calls that on the wiretap that were on March 14th, 2022, around 9:45 p.m.
I could have, because like I said, I have to go in and review all the calls, but sometimes we're a little behind on that. So you have monitors in there constantly, and then I'll go back on the back end and review and check them. I can't tell you. I don't believe I listened to them originally, but I did go back and review.
After learning of the death of Mr. Drinks, did those calls become of more note to you after learning about Mr. Drinks' murder, specifically the calls around 9:45 p.m. on March 14th, 2022?
Yes.
Okay. And why did it become of note to you at that point?
Because those would have been the calls at or around the time the murder was taking place.
And have you had an opportunity to listen to those calls in preparation for your testimony today?
I have.
You may.
And I want to direct your attention to March 14th, 2022 at around 9:59 p.m. Permission to publish.
You may.
before we actually publish it, with the wiretap information, does the wiretap content include location data?
It does.
And so are you able to see on the documentation with the wiretap where a phone call is when that phone call is being placed?
The majority of the time, it's not always foolproof. Sometimes the location will blank out. You won't have a location, but typically you can click on the map icon and it will show you where the person whose phone calls are being intercepted is at that time. It'll give you an approximate location of what tower they're at, and it will show you an approximate radius of how close they are to that location.
Thank you.
Hey, what the hell y'all pulled off? Nah, call me on video. Hurry up. Call me on the video. Call me. Pick up.
Now, did you hear what occurred in that call?
Yes.
Did you hear someone tell someone to pick up and get on FaceTime? What did you hear on the phone call?
Basically telling someone to hurry up and call me on FaceTime.
And as a gang investigator, is FaceTime significant? As
It
a gang
is.
investigator? Why is that significant as a gang investigator?
Because it's a common belief amongst people engaged in criminal activity that
Sustained.
Have you heard, in your experiences, do you have knowledge of FaceTime
I do.
and whether or not FaceTime calls are recorded? On telephone laws, our FaceTime calls recorded if you get CDR records, call detail records.
If you pull call detail records, you will not see FaceTime communication.
And in your experience in doing gang investigations, have you heard or seen gang members often want to speak on FaceTime rather than talking on the actual phone where their call details can be recorded?
Often through my investigations, you will see that once criminal activity begins to be discussed, they will prefer to switch to FaceTime because FaceTime cannot be intercepted through a wiretap.
And at about 9:59, is that when this call takes place, when someone says, hurry up and get on FaceTime?
Correct.
Are you aware of the time in which the surveillance video that Detective Hogan showed you? What time Mr. Jackson's vehicle was at the BP gas station?
It should be right at 9:59 p.m. Right, it should be at the gas pumps or parked outside of the store at the location.
And from the viewing of the surveillance video, were you familiar with both the car associated with Mr. Stillwell as well as the car associated with Mr. Parmavius Nichols at the gas station around that time?
I did not know I didn't know who the car was associated with, the other car was associated with at that time.
At some point, did you learn about who that other vehicle was associated with?
Yes.
Now, when you met with Detective Hogan, were you aware if Demekion Garlington was at the BP gas station?
I was not.
At what point in time did you learn that Mr. Garlington was at the BP gas station?
When I went back and reviewed the wiretap data.
Based on your investigation, were you able to determine if he was in the white Audi?
Yes.
Was he in the white Audi?
Yes, he was.
Once you heard this phone call, were you ever able to do any investigation as to the phone number that made the call?
We were. It took it was difficult to identify the phone number for a little bit.
And did you eventually identify that phone number?
Eventually, yes.
Who did you identify that phone number belonging to?
A gentleman by the name of DeMarco Boyer, who goes by Lil Co.
And based on your investigation, did you ever learn what was that phone at the gas station as well?
It was.
And based on your investigation, were you able to determine which car Mr. Boyer was in?
Based on my investigation, Mr. Boyer.
Okay.
You may.
Of course, we're going to bench again for this to be the last. This to be the last state's witness. They are sure dragging their feet. What is going on with my StreamYard? Oh, there we go. And the confused scowl on Mac's face had me. You gotta love Max though, right? Wasted witness. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I don't understand why they weren't showing this witness when she's all over the internet, but they would show other witnesses. This is not unbelievable. What is going on with my StreamYard here? Ah, there we go. Max is my spirit animal. Don't you love Max Sharp? You can see when he's getting ready to jump up and question a witness, he's sitting right on the edge of his seat and he's like, I know, she was. She absolutely was. She was the one that was going to tie everything together. What has she tied together exactly? What? I mean, asking for a friend. Can someone tell me? I don't see where she has tied anything together. Max is tame compared to me. Y'all want to finish the video we were watching a little bit ago? We can. So they're on their afternoon break. So let's pull this up. All right, let's stop. She's putting everyone to sleep, even the judge. You guys are a trip. All right, let's play this. Let's go full screen. Full screen it. Here we go.
Did you know that I can see you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have met. It's good to see you again.
Yes, sir. You too.
So I have some questions about what you said today. You mentioned that to Mr. Shart that Mr. Kendrick was present in the house at Allison Drive on May 9th, 2022, correct?
I don't recall exactly what his question was, but yes.
Okay. Did you actually see Mr. Kendrick in the house?
I did not.
Okay. The 6 guns that were found in that house, in Mr. Williams' house, do you have any evidence that Mr. Kendrick was ever in possession of those 6 guns?
I do not.
Do you have any evidence that he was anywhere near those 6 guns?
I do not.
Did you take part in the inventory, possession, or transport of the jewelry that was found in Mr. Williams' home?
My role during the search was to take photographs of evidence as it was recovered.
Do you recall there being 2 Richard Mille watches in Mr. Williams' home?
I don't know if I would know those if I saw them. So I don't know if there were 2 or not.
Okay. Do you recall seeing it's a Richard Mille brand. I understand you don't know what that brand would look like, but do you recall seeing a white ceramic watch with a pink band in the jewelry that you collected, or that was collected in that home?
I believe one was. Do I remember seeing it? I certainly don't. This, a couple of years later.
Okay. If a Richard Mille RM055 Bubba Watson white ceramic watch is not present in property today, do you know what happened to that watch?
I wouldn't have any idea.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
All right, redirect. Detective Belknap, on cross, you were asked by defense counsel about the May 9th search of Jeff Williams' home. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Now, you actually were the photographer of those crime scene photographs we walked through, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Now, you remember being asked questions about, I believe it was the 6 firearms that you found in that house.
Yes, sir.
And if they have any ballistic evidence to the March 14th, 2022 murder of Chanel Drinks. Do you
Correct.
recall that?
Yes.
Now, how many months later was this search from March 14th, 2022?
That'd be 2 months later.
Was Demekion Garlington arrested on May 9th, 2022 at Jeffrey Williams' home?
He was not.
Was Shannon Stillwell arrested on May 9th, 2022 in Jeffrey Williams' home?
No, he was not.
What about Miles Farley?
He was not.
What about Carmavius Nichols?
He was not.
Now, I want to also ask you as the photographer, I'm going to publish what's marked as 64 X-ray. It's going to come up on the big screen and on your computer. Is this one of the photographs that you took?
It appears to be.
I'm going to go to 65 X-ray. Is this one of the photographs that you took?
It is.
Why did you take this photograph?
In documenting this scene, we saw this pamphlet for Mr. McMiller's funeral. Mr. McMiller was associated with YSL with Mr. Williams and had been shot and killed.
What was the date that he was murdered?
It was March 11th of 2022.
And do you recall if that murder was at a house or on a highway?
It was on the highway.
Is it, I don't have pointer, but on this whiteboard, is that March 11th, 2022 and I-75, 85?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
And was Chanel Drinks murdered how many days after March 11th?
I believe it was 3 days later.
Now, I also want to ask you about, thank you, Mr. Vadi. You were asked on cross by defense counsel about a watch. Do you remember that?
I do.
Now, I'm just going to come out and ask you because we've been dancing around it. Did you steal any watch or know of any APD personnel who stole any item from that house?
Absolutely not.
Can you tell the jury the protocols that are in place when you document, was everyone wearing body cam?
They were.
And can you describe for the jury the process y'all have when you go through that large amount of evidence on a scene like that? In terms of, do you video when you're putting it into property?
Yes, usually our body cameras will be running during the search of the home, during the transport, and at property when submitting property.
And were you all on scene or working that case for a short time or a long time?
We were out there for several hours.
No further questions. Thank you, Detective Belknap.
All right, any recross?
You were asked on redirect if you're aware of any member of the APD that would have stolen this particular watch I asked you about, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you have full and total knowledge of all the activities of members of APD?
I don't.
If this particular watch, this Richard Mille watch, ceramic watch, is present in a photograph from Jeffrey Williams' home and it is no longer present in property right now, could anything have happened to that watch other than it have been stolen or lost?
Well, no, not every item that we photograph is ultimately taken as evidence. And I think there are probably a broad number of possibilities of what could have happened to that watch other than it being stolen or lost.
Is it the practice of your office to leave behind a $500,000 watch when you're seizing jewelry?
I don't know that I can answer that as far as practices go. I have no idea the value of this watch that we're discussing, so I'm woefully uneducated as far as that goes. And I can tell you that, unfortunately, as diligent as we are, sometimes even evidence is left behind at scenes. In this case, I don't have any specific information about this particular watch.
Can you explain to the jury the procedure when you go about seizing a vehicle, such as was seized at Jeffrey Williams' home?
As far as the procedure, we would call a tow truck to come and tow that vehicle to another location.
Is there any searching of the vehicle and inventorying of property within that vehicle at the time of the seizure?
It can depend on the scene and if there's a search warrant for the vehicle or if the vehicle is accessible. Sometimes the keys may not be present, can't access a vehicle. And sometimes it's towed to a secure location to conduct an inventory or further processing of that vehicle.
If the vehicle is accessible at the scene and you have a warrant that allows you to enter that vehicle, what's the procedure for what you do with the contents of the vehicle?
Typically, those contents would be cataloged. Valuable items may be secured. Evidence may be seized.
Is the procedure to leave valuable items within the vehicle?
Not typically. And again, that could be case dependent if the vehicle is going to be removed to another secure location for further processing.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you for your time. You are excused.
Thank you.
Call your next witness.
United States calls crime scene tech and for that point.
Yo, hit that light for deal Christian. Yo, for deal Christian, smash it.
And we're still waiting on court to come back. Let me pull it back up. Look, let's not talk about donuts because y'all are going to get me in a place. Because there's only one kind of real donut, and that's glazed with green field. Okay. Let's see how long they've been on break. About 15 minutes, so they should be back in a minute. Krispy Kreme. Yes, girl, Krispy Kreme. Look, you're making me hungry. The Barbarito started the narrative from social media. She and Barbarito. Okay. Yeah. Okay, stop the donut talk. Y'all. Walter, you said yep to donuts. Am I going to have to like ban you?
What did y'all say?
Okay, here they come back. All right, here we go.
Anything?
Paige looks stressed. What's going on with Paige?
You know, I think it's odd, but we're back already.
All right, here we go.
I'm going to try to keep this moving. I think it's odd that a detective or the investigator would give a conclusory statement that so-and-so is in a certain car and just conclude it with no basis, but I will clear it up on cross if I need to. So.
There is a basis because we have a call that's not being played before the jury, but there is a phone call of that phone number associated with Mr. Boyer calling Mr. Garlington's phone a few minutes before the call that we just heard. And additionally, Your Honor, although this is out, there is a basis because she is aware that that phone plotted at that location once she was able to determine whose phone number it is, and we were able to get the phone plotted. So there's a basis of knowledge. It's not.
Right. Well, she has a basis to be able to know. I don't know if she has a basis to be able to know exactly what car he is in, does she? But she has a basis to know pretty close to where he is.
Yeah, because we know that they're talking to people in the other car. We know that
You're just like putting two and two together on the.
That's fine. I'll clear it
I
up
think
on cross.
that's legitimate. Okay.
I'll clear it up on cross. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Are we ready for the jury if they're ready? No. Not like, I mean, like, Sure, if you think that's a good stopping point. I mean, do you think you'll get through this witness today? Okay, how much more will you have tomorrow? Huh? Oh, not tomorrow, sorry. The next day, Monday.
probably about 2 hours.
So we should have done tomorrow.
I understand the reason why, especially given something that happened this week, Your Honor, with the state's office.
Y'all need to get better at your time estimates.
She growled at them.
All right, let's just get the jury back in.
How much? No, I think the judge is still contemplating. I think judge.
She actually just growled at them. She said, "Arr, I knew you would pull this." Yeah, Ron, that's exactly what she just said. Excuse me. She said, "Arr, I knew you would pull this." Judge Whitaker is done with them, y'all. She is finished. That was hilarious. Oh, I gotta clip this. Look at Doug. He's like, I know, Judge. Sis Wit, we know. Right, Don, right. Too funny. I guess they're just calling them in to dismiss them. Yeah. Wow. Too funny. And did the state not say Thursday that they had one more witness, and that was it, and they were wrapping up. It was Thursday, right? Because they were off Friday for horse trading, as Jason calls it. And then Monday was Veterans Day. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Based on your investigation, some knowledge of Mr. Boyer being at the BP gas station.
Yes.
Okay. Now, after
Oh, so they're going to continue. Oh, my bad.
listening to this call in the days after Mr. Drinks's murder, did you see posts from Mr. Demikion Garlington,
Yes.
as well as Mr. Quarmavius Nichols?
Yes.
And did you capture those posts as a part of your investigation?
Yes.
And have you had an opportunity to look at those posts prior to your testimony today?
I have.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as Space Unit 470 BV and 471 BV. Tell me if you recognize 470 BV and 471.
I do recognize them.
And how do you recognize 470 BV and 471 BV?
These are posts that I had captured during the investigation. It was my wiretap as part of the March 2022.
And are those posts from both Mr. Garlington and Mr. Quarmavius Nichols?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 470 and 471 BV into evidence.
Admitted.
And permission to publish.
You may.
Looking at, actually it's 470 and 471, both these images just on one page.
Yes.
Okay. And what date were these posted?
Can I refer to them?
Yes.
They were posted on, or they were captured on March 15th at 8:20 p.m. And it says 33 minutes ago, so around 7-something p.m. on March 15th.
And were both images posted on March 15th, 2022?
Yes.
And what does the caption say?
We got y'all boys.
And who is in both images?
In the white t-shirt, you'll see Christian McMiller. And then in the black t-shirt holding up the watch is going to be Darius Ford.
And was this posted by Demikion Garlington?
It was.
And is this the day after Mr. Drinks was killed?
Yes.
Now, did you also then have the opportunity to see more images from YFN members regarding either Mr. Drinks or Mr. Donovan Thomas Jr.?
Yes.
All right. I'm showing you 472 BV, 473 BV, and I'll just start. 461 BV, 472, and 473 BV.
Okay.
Do you recognize 461 BV, 472 BV, and 473 BV?
I do.
And how do you recognize those images?
Those were images that I captured during my wiretap investigation.
Okay. And do they appear to be fair and accurate depictions of pictures that you captured during your wiretap investigation?
Yes.
Your Honor, this time the state would like to admit 461 BV, 472, and 473 BV.
Admitted.
And permission to publish.
Okay.
And we'll start 461 BV. Is that again, Mr. Calvin Watts?
It is.
Okay. And does he have any emojis on that picture?
He does.
And what are the emojis?
So you will see in between his eyes, he's going to have the purple, like devil, like emoji in between his eyes. He's going to have the shell. That's something he.
Oh, can you, because they probably can't see. Do you have the pointer?
Oh, yes. Sorry. So you'll see he has like the purple, like the devil emoji in between his eyes. And then from my experience reviewing hundreds of his posts over there, he likes this shell emoji tagging things. And after the death of Mr. Drinks, Mr. Watts began posting these shells. There's one, he puts two under his eye in the style of like, in my experience or what I've seen through my investigations, like prison or gang tattoos, teardrops under the eyes. So this is after, he started doing this after Mr. Drinks was killed with the two shells under his eye.
Now looking at 472 VV. And who posted 472 VV?
Jasper Walters.
And what is that a picture of a tattoo?
It is.
And what does the tattoo say?
Nut Life 2X.
Okay. And based on your investigation, did you have an understanding of what Nut Life 2X stood for?
Based on my investigation, it appeared that.
Let me ask you a better question. Was Donovan Thomas Jr. nicknamed Peanut?
He was.
And was Mr. Shamel Drinks also nicknamed Peanut?
He was.
Okay. And after Mr. Drinks murder, is that when you started seeing the Nut Life 2 times tattoos?
Yes.
Now looking at 473 VV. Now looking at is this Donovan Thomas Jr.?
It is.
And is this also a post on Mr. Shell Keller, Kelvin Watts' page?
It is.
Okay. And do you see the two emojis or the two shells on there?
Yes.
Now you just talked about a few moments ago that it looked like teardrops with prison or his version of that. What do those teardrops mean? What's your understanding of the meaning of the two teardrops?
Traditionally, through the training and experience that I've had, a teardrop denotes somebody you killed. It could denote several things, but one of them is when you get a body, you'll have a teardrop under your eye.
Now, when you went to, I'm going to take you back to March 16th of 2022. And when you went to the home and spoke with Mr. Jackson, you said that he did not give you any information about what happened that night. Is that fair to say?
He was very short. He didn't give me much.
And did you have an opportunity to hear any calls from the wiretap around March 16, 2022, around the time in which the police or after the police were at the location?
Yes, there were calls after the police and myself had left the location.
And have you had the opportunity to listen to those calls in preparation for your testimony today?
I have.
We're going to start with March 16th, 2022 at 12:22 a.m. Yeah, of course it does. You guys got kicked out of Zoom for a moment. as we're waiting for the call to get pulled up, after March 16th or March 17th, after the execution of the search warrant, did you learn of the apprehension of Mr. Stillwell Jackson following a chase from Chick-fil-A on Cleveland Avenue?
Yes.
And after learning of the apprehension of Mr. Stillwell Jackson, did you begin listening to any of his jail calls?
I did.
And while listening to his jail calls, did you ever learn if he had a cell phone?
Yes.
And did you learn where the cell phone, and when I say where, the house, where that cell phone was located?
Yes.
Where did you retrieve the phone from?
I ultimately retrieved the phone from his grandmother's home.
Okay. And once you got the phone, were you able to did you get a search warrant to search the phone?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to go through the contents of that phone?
Yes.
All right. Court's indulgence for a moment. We're ready to publish the March 16th call.
All right.
Nope. Where the hell you at? Where the hell you at? Hey, ain't like no little back cut. Oh no, what the heck? I think they in the front. Man, they gotta goddamn get through their back. They can't come in the house. Yeah, that was my house. Shut up, open the door.
And listening to that call, are you able to determine who Mr. Garza was speaking with?
I believe he's speaking with Mr. Stillwell.
And do you know what time the police responded to 2830 Waters Road on March 16, 2022?
I believe it was shortly after midnight.
And was this call at approximately 12:22 a.m.?
Yes.
Next, I want to play for you March 16th at 4:33 a.m.
Oh, you good, nigga?
Hello?
You good?
Yeah. Who is this?
What the hell you mean, nigga?
Oh, I ain't even say, I ain't saving no number.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Where the hell you at? You gone?
Yeah, I'm here
miles off.
10 miles, boy, it's all love, boy. I couldn't wait, boy. I gotta go home.
Oh yeah, yeah. He just ran in the store real quick.
Yeah, so it was all love. Yeah, I ain't waiting, boy. I gotta go, boy. That shit just shook the fuck out of me.
Man, wet, man. When I seen it, when I seen V, I just
Man, what? Man, that whole just man, boy. Listen, boy. I just said to myself, boy. Man, let me out that car. I'm gonna go in.
Now you heard what I said. Man, Miss V, are you Miss V?
I am.
Is that what Mr. Garlington and Mr. Silva call you?
Yes.
In, boy, and I ain't coming back outside, boy. I don't care if I have no run or nothing, boy. That motherfucker ain't moving.
hey, what? I said the same shit. What? Somebody really think I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like,
What's so
I'm
crazy, bro? I was just being cheap. Actually, it was being cheap. My whole keep saying, let's get a run like that, man. I'm not gonna pay for no room. Man, listen, boy. I just said, damn, boy. They finna send a nigga to Rice Street with their money like that. Man, let me go and spend this shit on them in the room, man.
Man, what? I'm
Fuck,
telling you, hey, that's on DB. I'm in there like, but I got my last 2,000. I got to get lawyered in. I'm like, man. Well, I'm in that bitch like, you know, man. Damn.
Bro, you wanna believe, boy. All the sticks and the guns was in the gray car.
For real?
Man, oh God, boy. And the sticks and shit in the attic.
Ooh, shit. Boy, that was God, boy.
Yeah, what?
That was God. Yeah. He said all Lord, he had to get up out of there, boy. Baby. What, that way? Yeah. Hell yeah. You know what I mean, though?
Yeah, nah, man. You know how far I gotta go.
Oh, yeah. Poke got blowed up.
She what?
She blowed it up, boy.
Hey, man, she blowed my shit up.
You saying Shannon okay, Mouse? Hold on, them too.
All right.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. I seen her. You walk past me first thing. I'm like, well, I know for a fact.
Man, what? You know who she was coming to then?
She say all this said the same shit though. She like, so you, cause she like, who house is it? I'm like, man, I don't know. I'm telling them my first time here. She was like,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Man, listen, bro. I'm thinking. Get what I kept saying. I said, boy, I know D and Mal them smart. I know they soon them folk got her and took her to the front. I said, I know they hit that back cut.
You wouldn't even believe I'm trying to find out the back cut. That's why I called you.
Man, you talking about, well, I would have made one straight through the motherfucking bush back there, boy. I'm telling you, I would have went trucking back there.
But guess what? We only got caught for this time. I mean, once they legs showing, he thinks somebody in the house dead, bro.
Man, they tell me, they like, so you telling me nobody in the house? I'm like, hell, man, I ain't listen, man. I just pulled up. I said outside for 3 minutes, top. The motherfucker go popping. So shit.
Oh, God, I said the same shit.
Oh, God, why I said outside 3 minutes, popping. Them motherfucker went to popping. So shit, I went to goddamn ducking and running. They to my soul, why you ain't? They to my so why you ain't got down? I thought it comes on some. They to my why you ain't got down? Come out when we said Atlanta police. I'm like shit. I don't trust Atlanta police. I'm thinking these folks. I'm thinking these folks trying to get her to come out. So I'm shit. I stayed in.
Yeah.
Oh God. They're like yeah. I'm like yeah. I'm like look, bro. Y'all question me like I'm a suspect. I'm a victim. They're like yeah. You right. They're like but let us do what we gotta do. We're gonna get back with you if everything come out clean. Then let y'all go. Like say less. I'm in the car sleep. I keep when they tell me that I kick back, don't goddamn go out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
You know they can't get the video from Nick camera quick.
Hell nah.
Yeah, okay,
Man, you wouldn't believe, boy. I'm in the motherfucker like, boy, I know they can't come in here. We good, bro. I'm telling bro, like we good, but they probably.
You told me I was in the woods.
Huh?
You told me I was in the woods.
I was up under the house, man. You don't see how dirty I am?
Oh, we heard them get they like, hey, move. He like, hey, I dumb ass walk. I go out the back door. So I go out the back door, right? Bro, I'm finna go toward the car and just hop in the car, just sit in the car the whole time. That's what they at though. Man, I go to the other side, finna try to hop the fence. They like that, hey.
I'm telling you what you gonna do. Go hit that cut, boy.
I know it. I everybody what a cut was. They said I ain't know.
Man, listen, man. You probably made your cut. Yeah, like you ain't from the hood, boy. You know how this shit go. I would have went back there and made me a cut, boy. I would have been trucking through the motherfucker. That's why my goddamn shoes so dirty, my pants dirty, and my shoes dirty.
Real. They say, so is this about Matt, man? I say, ma'am, I don't know.
Man, listen, man. They asked me, do I know Matt, man? I said, I don't know no motherfucking Matt, man. Who are that?
Yeah.
I said, man, I'm not even from over here, bro. I'm from Somerville area, bro.
Yeah.
So what you doing over here? I came to see a friend, man. I'm trying to talk about that game, man.
Fuck you talking about? Damn, man. That whole blowing me up. That whole thing, nigga, Sheen, all type of shit. That nigga was so cool though. He got damn called it back. I need to put a lock on my phone and take my have my messages pop out.
This shit crazy, boy. I'm finna go in, boy. I'm finna gotta get out the driver's seat, let her drive, tell her drive slow as possible. I got down, my stupid ass went in the car, got my stick out the car and my FN out the car. I twirl right there and got in the car, pulled off. They're really why I ain't want to wait on mine.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna text you now. Yeah, man. Folks blowing her air. She called too.
Slow. How she get some? How she get that though?
I don't know. You know, Kira got my Instagram on her phone.
Oh.
Everybody DM like, is you okay? So goddamn, y'all blowing up. So she say her and Kira was already on the phone. I get Kira sent her number to
Pope.
Yeah, Pope. All them was on the phone. I'm like, damn, man. But I say, I'm like, yeah, bro.
Bro, listen, bro. I kept saying to myself, I don't know what the fuck. I'm on drill time though, so I'm really like, but I ain't going nowhere. But I'm telling myself, pull out, AD, pull out.
You ain't hear me say, boy, let go.
Man, listen, you said let go, Miles said let go, Brett said let go, but I'm on drill time, so I'm just like, man, fuck that, boy.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. This time they served. He was just telling me like, he was like, either somebody follow D or your girl or it's that whole Elmo, cause they serve Elmo. I was like, man, Elmo, Elmo fuck with them folks.
Yeah. Ain't nobody follow me. Nobody on the freeway when I got off of nothing.
Man, listen, man. Don't nobody know my hoe. Cause my hoe in a runner, man. Fresh runner, new runner. Them motherfuckers just got any run. And my hoe coming from goddamn, all the way from goddamn out here. So, come on, man. Stop playing.
Yeah, man. I know for a fact nobody follow me. Y'all need to know what I'm in. Don't nobody know I fuck with the hoe.
Don't nobody know what I'm in. That's what I'm telling. Like, do you folks ain't knowing these cars? That's what I'm telling him. Like, bro, these folks ain't knowing none of these cars, bro. All these cars are some new goddamn cars. Niggas ain't played.
Yeah. Damn, man. I hear them boys know. Damn.
They're crazy, bro. Don't nobody know. Them folk don't be knowing where that spot at, man.
Yeah.
Somebody get that drop out, boy.
Boy, on God, boy, that's what I believe. On TV, that's what I believe, boy.
Somebody had get it. Hey, boy, I ain't gonna lie, boy. I know you happy like I'm happy, boy. I'm happy as hell, boy. I just was saying to myself. Get what I just was saying to myself. I just was saying to myself, boy. Man, all these niggas might get out except me and D, boy.
Oh man, on God.
I'm like to him, boy. Yeah.
were the two people talking on that call?
Mr. Garlington and Mr. Stillwell.
And did you hear when in the call they talked about the sticks? They were happy because they didn't go inside because there were sticks in the attic.
I heard them speak about sticks being in the gray car and in the attic.
When you went and did the execution of the search warrant on March 17th, 2022, did you find any weapons first in the attic of the home at 2830 Waters Road?
I did not.
Was there any weapons found inside of an Audi vehicle?
I believe there was a rifle recovered from the Audi.
Now, when you hear the term sticks, have you heard that term before?
I have.
And how have you heard that term referenced?
Referencing a long gun or a rifle.
And would the gun that was found inside of the Audi on March 17, 2022 be considered a stick?
Yes.
Now, did you hear when either Mr. Garlington or Mr. Stillwell mentioned something or an individual named Elmo?
Yes.
Are you familiar with that nickname at all?
I'm not.
Did you hear when either Mr. Stillwell or Mr. Garlington said, "I'm on drill time"?
Yes.
Have you heard that term drill time before?
Yes.
How have you heard that terminology?
Like you're ready to go to war, basically.
Did you hear either Mr. Stillwell or Mr. Garlington talk about the camera footage inside of the home?
Briefly, yes.
And again, when you went on March 17, 2022, was there any camera footage found inside of the house?
No, based on that call, I included it in my items to be searched for in my search warrant, but it had been removed.
And was it this call that you used to base the search warrant for you to go into the home on March 17, 2022?
Yes.
Now, during that call, did you hear with either Mr. Garlington or Mr. Stillwell, I guess, talk about their discussion with the police officers on scene?
Yes.
And did you hear one of them say that they told the police that they didn't even know McMahon? They had no idea who that was.
Yes.
And based on the social media posts that you observed, would that be not a true statement that neither Mr. Garlington nor Mr. Stillwell, they knew who Mr. McMillan was? Would that be fair to say?
Correct. They knew them.
Now, as a part of your kind of continued listening to this wiretap, did you ever find any calls after the death of Mr. Chanel Drinks in the early morning hours of March 15th, 2022, with Demetrion Garlington discussing the shooting or discussing driving back through a certain area?
There was a call where it appeared that he was discussing driving back through and looking at the location.
And have you had opportunity to listen to those calls in preparation for your testimony?
I have.
I'm going to publish State's Exhibit March 15th, 2022 at 2:01 a.m.
Yo,
I mean, there was all kinds of shit going on. I just jump in the other car, bro. Y'all niggas don't be getting dropped off and then got no motherfucking ride to go back home to. That don't make sense.
yeah, yeah,
The fuck you getting dropped off for a nigga ride with a nigga who wrote you?
yeah.
That's stupid as fuck. So you need to be on the gun What the hell? What's wrong with
We right here. We right here down here.
y'all? What?
Ryan pad trying to see.
I'm finna meet up with y'all. Nigga, I'm finna go get a fill up.
Gotta get it filled up for Mike, Mike.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm listening.
Huh?
I said, alright, I'm finna let you know what's going on.
I just, I'm pulling out now. Y'all nigga,
You back soon. You say,
I was gonna jump in with y'all.
alright. That's what I'm saying. Call when you're done.
Alright, I'm gonna get the fill up now.
Alright.
Now, did you hear when Mr. Garza says that he was riding past just trying to see?
I did.
And with this call, sitting here now, were you able to remember if the wiretap picked up location data for that call?
I can't recall offhand. I'd have to review it.
And I want to briefly go back to the call we just heard from the early morning hours of March 16th. Did you hear either Mr. Garlington or Mr. Stillwell discuss having an FN and a stick?
Yes,
And an FN, is that a type of handgun?
it is.
And the stick, is that, again, similar to what we talked about, a long gun?
My experience, it would refer to a long gun.
And did you have any knowledge of the arrest of Mr. Shannon Jackson on March 17th or anything that was found in the area of where that arrest took place? Did you have any knowledge of that?
Yes.
And did you have any knowledge of an FN gun being found on Meadow Lark Road, and one in the middle of the street and one in the grassy area of Meadow Lark?
Yes, that's my understanding what transpired during the arrest.
And as a part of your work on this case with the DA's office, were you ever asked to locate the receipt for one of those FN weapons?
I was.
And what did you do in order to obtain that receipt?
I believe I traveled to the pawn shop located in Clayton County.
Talking to you, Mike.
Oh, sorry. There's an Arrowhead pawn shop in Clayton County and was able to obtain the receipt for those firearms.
And who was the purchaser of that FN?
Mr. Stillwell's ex-girlfriend, Taisha Alexander, or current girlfriend.
Now, I want to publish. You're right, this could be a good place to stop.
Okay. Let's stop for the day. So we'll be back with y'all on Monday at 9. So y'all have a good weekend. Remember not to let anybody talk to you about the case. Don't talk to anybody about the case. Don't discuss it amongst yourselves. Don't look at any kind of coverage. Don't try to find out through any research, anything about the case or anybody involved. That's about, it. Same thing that's been applicable to y'all for the last year. And we will see you on Monday. Thank you.
So that was their big witness. That was the one that was supposed to tie everything together for the state. Excuse me if I'm unimpressed. Very unimpressed. This is my unimpressed face. I don't know. Are y'all seeing something that I'm not seeing in the chat? If so, please clue me in because I'm not seeing it. It's very, very rare
And
that
as
I'm
we
speechless.
previously discussed, tomorrow will be an attorney work day, that court will not be in session.
No court tomorrow.
Your Honor, before we break, and I think probably this goes without saying, but I'm going to ask that this witness, Investigator Viverito, be instructed to have absolutely no communications about this case with the state as she's now on the stand.
Yeah. You're so instructed. Okay, anything else?
That was spicy.
No?
Oh.
Okay. All right, y'all.
I cannot wait until Max gets a hold of her.
We ought to get in to be
It's
able
going to be great.
with the evidence, work on sorting out the evidence by 9 tomorrow. I will be available, but I don't plan to come down here and do anything. So just if you need to reach the court for anything, just email Ms. Pursfield as you always do.
Are you okay if it's 10 o'clock to the normal 8:30, 9 o'clock?
It definitely doesn't have to be 8:30. I'm fine. I mean, the courtroom is going to be, it's just going to be y'all, the attorneys in court. It's not going to be anybody else. The courtroom's not going to be open. So it probably would be nice for the deputies to know when it is. They should have it available.
Well, we're always here, so we'll defer to that.
Yeah, if it's okay with the court, my preference would be to get here at 10 o'clock tomorrow just because I have a school event.
10's fine. 10 o'clock. So,
See, we got ESPN.
There you go.
yeah. Okay.
I don't know why these gentlemen can't get out of bed in the morning, but
I know.
I'll be here by the time they get here. As far as, well, this doesn't need to be on the record.
Okay. Y'all come on up here if we need to discuss anything else.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's fine with me. I thought y'all might want a day out of court, but.
You would like to be here.
Okay, fine.
Oh, keep the mic on. We're here for it.
All right, well, y'all can be here too, but court will not be in session.
Do we go to the seal? Do we not? He finally just cut the camera. I've still got it in my ear just in case. We still got volume pulled up, but they cut it. When Max gets across, it's going to be spicy. It is going to be spicy, and we are going to be here for it. I'm telling you, we are going to be here for it. Oh, I hate there's not going to be court tomorrow, but Monday is going to be nice, and you better believe we're going to be here for it. So thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate you guys as always. Much love and going out to your families. Grace and peace, everybody. Have a great night.
Yo, hit that like for deal with Christian. Yo, for deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian. For deal with Christian. Smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it. Just smash it. Hit that like for deal with Christian.